All right, these are 7E in-class notes. We're adding and subtracting rational expressions. So when we add or subtract, just like any fractions, we need common denominators. So here's the process I'm going to go through. First thing I'm going to do is check that each of my terms are in standard form. So how each one of these starts with x except for this one. So the first thing I want to do is rewrite that as negative 2x plus y. Then because the lead coefficient is negative, I'm going to factor out a negative 1. All right, next look at the rest of the expression. Can anything factor? Well, you should recognize this as the difference of two squares, which factors to 2x minus y and 2x plus y. I need everything in factored form to be able to find my least common denominator. Now, because I have a negative 1 in the denominator here, I'm going to pull that up top. Okay? So now I don't have to worry about that negative in my denominator. So my common denominator, because I have the two factors here, 2x minus y, 2x plus y, that's my common denominator. So that means this fraction over here needs another 2x plus y. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2x plus y. All right, now it's just a matter of multiplying to get a single fraction. So now that my denominators are the same, I can put my numerators together. All right, so I multiplied the negative 1, and then through here, that's where this is, negative x plus y. And then I'm multiplying the 2x plus y. And now because we have the same denominator, I can add the 3y squared. All right, I'm going to need to FOIL this. So that's what I did in this. So I FOILed, and then plus my 3y squared that was already there. All right, I'm going to start to combine like terms. All right, so the 2xy minus xy just gives me xy, and the 1y squared plus 3y squared gives me 4y squared. Now, you have to look at this. Does this factor? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But there's nothing that multiplies to give us negative 8, but has a difference of 1. So in this case, this is my final answer. All right, now this is not in your notes, but it's a quick way to multiply. Now, if you notice my common denominator here is going to be x minus 4 x times x minus 1. These are different factors. So if I have different factors, a quick way to multiply these fractions, or to add these fractions, is what I call cross, cross, bottom. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, however, is bring that negative up with that 3. Instead of make it plus a negative 3, because I don't want to drop that negative. That's going to have to get distributed. All right, my cross, cross, bottom. I'm going to multiply these two terms together, cross, cross, and then bottom, to get the following. So x plus 1 times x minus 1 plus negative 3 times x minus 4 with my denominator. So cross, cross, bottom. All right, then it's a matter of cleaning this thing up with algebra. So I'm going to distribute. I'm going to multiply x plus 1, x minus 1, and get x squared minus 1, and distribute my negative 3, and get negative 3x plus 12. Combine like terms, so negative 1 plus 12 is 11. Now here again, see if this can factor. It doesn't. What multiplies to give you 11 adds to give you negative 3, so this would be my final answer. I can leave my denominator in factored form, or I can multiply it back together. Here again, this method's quick if these factors are different. I wouldn't want to do it if I had a common factor here, because it makes a messier question. All right, and then we talked about complex fractions. Complex fractions is just a fraction over a fraction. All right, so since I have a single fraction over a single fraction, I can flip, factor, and cross out common factors. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is going to flip and multiply. So that's what I did here. We flipped and multiplied. All right, and then I'm going to factor everything that I can factor. So here's what I did in my next step. I pulled out the 4, which left me with 4x squared minus 1, which is the difference of squares. This is the difference of squares. I factored 2x squared minus 5x minus 3 to 2x plus 1, x minus 3. And then this had a GCF of 2, So I factored out the 2, and then I factor what was left. All right, now this is all multiplication. So I can start crossing out common factors. I can't when I have any addition in here, but once it's all multiplication, I can cross out common factors. So let's see, what are my common factors? I've got x plus 1, 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1, x minus 3. All right, so that's going to leave me with 2, because I divided 2 into 4, and that's where my 2 came from, x plus 3 over 3x minus 2. And here again, I can leave it like that, or I can distribute the 2 and get 2x plus 6 over 3x minus 2. So that's a complex fraction, a fraction over a fraction. All right, finally, let's look at one more complex fraction. Now, we have to have a single fraction in my denominator before I can flip. So that means I've got to do some work on this thing. All right, so I look at this. Everybody's in standard form. All right, I look at the numerator. I'm going to have to get a common fraction here and a common fraction on the denominator. So this would be a good candidate for cross bottom because these are different factors. This one, however, isn't because this can be factored. So let's go ahead and factor that. All right, so 3x squared minus x minus 2 factors just 3x plus 2, x minus 1. All right, I'm going to cross bottom on this one. Notice that I made this, instead of a minus, I made this plus and negative to get ready to cross bottom. And this term is going to need an x minus 1. Okay, so that's what I did here. I crossed 2 times 3x plus 2, crossed again, negative 4 times x minus 1, and then multiplied the bottom, x minus 1, 3x plus 2. And included my needed factor down here of x minus 1. So now that these have a common denominator, I can make this a single fraction. And that's what I did here. I distributed my 4, and got 4x minus 4 plus 2. All right, now we're going to clean this up, and then I'm going to flip. So I distributed my 2, distributed my negative 4 on the numerator, combine like terms. So in the numerator I got 2x plus 8 over the factors, and then 4x minus 2 over the factors. Now this is a single fraction over a single fraction, so I can flip. So here's where I flip the second fraction, and I can cross out common factors because it's all multiplication. So x minus 1, 3x plus 2. Which leaves me with 2x plus 8 over 4x minus 2. Well, all of these have a 2 in common. So I divided everything by 2, and this is my final answer, x plus 4 over 2x minus 1. All right, please let me know if that helps. If you have any questions, come see me during den time.